And good Saturday morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome to the 2012 USCSA National Championships here, live from Sunday River, Maine, in the beautiful western Maine mountains on an absolutely epic Saturday with crystal blue skies, not a cloud we can see, and warm temperatures right at the freezing mark at 32 degrees as we get ready to bring you live broadcast coverage of the 2012 USCSA Men's Alpine Slalom Championship right here from the Barker Base Lodge in the Monday Morning Trail in beautiful Sunday River, Maine. Hi, everybody. Boss Hogg alongside Alex Beatty as we are in our final day of 5 days of coverage here on the USCSA Radio Network. And today, the men are going to throw down the heat as they fly through 59 gates of incredible slalom course setting here on the Monday Morning Trail. And we're going to bring you both runs. The first run just about 15 minutes away. We'll take the fastest times of that run. We'll add it to the second run later this afternoon at 1 o'clock. And we will crown a 2012 USCSA National Champion. My friend and yours sitting next to me here in the Barker Broadcast Center, it is Alex Beatty. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, boss. How's it going?
Well, we are ready for exciting ski racing action. Of course, last night, right here under the lights at Barker Mountain, we were treated to the USCSA Big Air Bonanza. And if you'll look here to our broadcast right, lookers right, at the base of the mountain, you'll see the landing area of the huge 60-foot gap and the big air hit that was constructed for the reception for the athletes and coaches last night here on Barker Mountain. Alex, I know you had an opportunity to be up here with me, and what a show those kids put on last night in the Big Air Bonanza.
It was awesome, boss. Really great to watch. I was there enjoying some great food, good music, and listening to the Boss Hogg show. It was just a wild ride.
All the colleges sending their very best freestyle athletes, skiers, and snowboarders over the big hit last night for big prizes, courtesy of one of our sponsors here at the National Championships. A big day of competition all over Sunday River awaits you. So if you're joining us here live in the Barker Mountain venue, you are in for a treat as we've got two big runs of men's alpine slalom racing on the plate. Right here to our left, you see the huge Sunday River Super Pipe. We'll also have today coverage of the men's and women's snowboard half pipe and the men's and women's skier half pipe. So lots of activity right here at Sunday River this Saturday morning on an epic day as blue skies and warm temperatures abound. They have dialed it in for us here at Sunday River all week long, but today looks like the best of five. The 2012 USCSA National Championships are brought to you in part by Patagonia. Their mission, to build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, and to use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. Learn more at Patagonia.com. And by Reliable Racing. Whether it's Alpine and Nordic ski racing apparel and equipment, hill and event supplies, sports timing equipment, or just hard-to-find race gear, Reliable Racing is your one-stop shop. Check them out on the web at ReliableRacing.com. Today's USCSA Radio Network broadcast is brought to you by Yeti Apparel. When you're facing truly abominable weather, the Yeti has you covered. Visit them at YetiApparel.com. Yeti, proud supporters of the USCSA. And by Hurricane Racing. When it's custom team Alpine, Nordic, or cycling race apparel you seek, Hurricane Racing delivers. Demand the very best in custom printed ski suits, jackets, pants, and race apparel. Demand Hurricane Racing at HurricaneRacing.com, official sponsors of the 2012 USCSA National Championships. Two big runs of men's alpine slalom competition to close out the 4 days of alpine ski racing here at Sunday River. Yesterday, a huge day for Brown University as their superstar, Kaya Mosenthal, winning a national champion in the ladies' slalom event in what was one of the most dramatic series of events we've seen at a USCSA Nationals in recent memory. Leading after the first run, it was Sierra Nevada College's Matea Firk. Firk with almost a 1 second lead. She's the defending national champion, winning the ladies slalom back a year ago in Sun Valley, Idaho. as a result of the leader after the first run in Sun Valley, Kaya Mosenthal, having difficulty and skiing off course in the second run, costing her the national championship and handing it to Matea Ferk. And as if it wasn't poetic justice, a reverse of events yesterday, as Ferk comes down the first run almost a second faster than the rest of the field, poised to win a second national championship, and the second championship she would have earned here at the 2012 national championships, as Ferk 3 days ago won the women's giant slalom. But it wasn't to be. As the video replay showed during the break between runs 1 and 2, Matea Ferk had clipped a gate. She was disqualified and unable to complete the second run, and it left the door wide open. Kaya Mosenthal, the senior, in her final race as a competitive ski racer, collegiate athlete. She came down and snatched the national championship away. So congratulations to Brown University and to Kaya Mosenthal, winning her national championship in the ladies slalom yesterday here on the Monday Morning Trail, and in her final collegiate athletic competition. Quite exciting here yesterday, wasn't it, Alex?
Absolutely, boss. You know, we're going to be sorry to see Kaya Mosenthal leaving the USCSA. I was hoping to watch that duel between Mosenthal and Ferk for years to come, but we'll have to content ourselves with some other fantastic ski racers, boss.
Let's quickly run down the finishing order for the ladies slalom competition yesterday here on Monday morning. Finishing in 10th place from the University of British Columbia, it was Samantha Bisnair. In 9th from University of Massachusetts, Shannon Bloom. Then from St. Anselm's College, in the 8th slot, Caitlin Forbes. Katie Olvstead from St. Olaf College in 7th. And from Rocky Mountain College, it's Issa Floden, finishing in 6th place. Rounding out your top 5 yesterday in the ladies slalom final. In 5th, Brigitta Park from University of Connecticut. In 4th, it was Sierra Nevada College's Emily Lamoureux. From the University of Nevada at Reno in 3rd, Nicole Polshuk. The runner-up, Taya Palick from Sierra Nevada College. And your 2012 USCSA Women's National Champion in the slalom from Brown University, Kaya Mosenthal. Today we have 104 entries in the men's competition. Of course, you have to finish run number 1 in order to be afforded run number 2, and it takes 2 runs here to make the final sheet on the USCSA Men's Slalom Championship scoreboard. We'll see racers from all over the United States. They'll come down to this 180 vertical meter trail of death that's been set by Jay DeWitt. DeWitt has really shaken things up here. As you can see, 3 distinct sections on this Monday morning trail. As they pop out of the start gate high above the Monday morning run here at 549 vertical meters, they come down a head wall and immediately have to hard right boot it in a left-hand turn for the skiers as it crosses the first head wall. Then things level out shortly, and they shoot the skiers back to the skiers' right, down the second head wall into the center portion of the course. As things flatten out again, then another head wall, as you can see just about halfway down this run, and then it flattens out for the final 25 gates, where it looks like the gates have been set incredibly dense. They are close together, Alex, and that'll certainly cause the legs to burn. Nuclear lactic acid setting in as these ski racers make their way through the final 20 gates into the finish corral here at the bottom of Monday morning.
Absolutely, boss. These racers are going to have to really be hard on those edges in that early part of the course where it can get very steep, and then that last couple gates will be all about technical skill right there, just going back and forth, being very quick, and just harnessing every turn to conserve speed and bring it into the finish.
Alex, as a ski racer yourself for Tufts University, you understand what's going on in the minds of these 104 racers here at the top, currently awaiting their first run. there's a careful balance between letting it all hang out and control in run number one, because as we said earlier, if you don't complete one, you don't get two, and there's no way you can win a national championship without the second run. Talk about what's going on in the minds of these ski racers right now as they await their first of two runs here for the National Slalom Final.
Oh, the blood is pumping, boss. Definitely some nerves up there. Very important what you mentioned before, that you really got to get that second run, as we saw yesterday with Mattea Ferk. Even if you're the fastest in the first run, if you miss a gate or if you just don't finish, you're not going to get that second run, and that is absolutely the most important thing for these racers right now.
So we are just moments away from our first 3-4 runners coming down the Monday morning trail. And right at 10 o'clock, just about 7 minutes from now, we'll see our first racers come down. The first 10 you'll see, starting off today, the guinea pig from the United States Naval Academy. It'll be Patrick Papp wearing bib number 1. He'll be followed by British Columbia's Michael Bisnair. Then it's UMass's Cole Skinner, followed by Ollie Freiberg from Rocky Mountain College. It's Sierra Nevada College's Luca Rico in the 5th starting position. Then we'll see Jeffrey Jacka from the University of Idaho. And from Hobart College, starting 7th, Bart Flynn. Then it's on to Northern Michigan University's Jerry Vermeulen in 8th. And Peter Krajak from Columbia will start in 9th. Rounding out your first top 10 down the hill this morning from Castleton College, we'll see Connor O'Brien. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're here at the venue with us in beautiful Sunday River, Maine, we'll ask you to please stand and remove your hats as we get ready now for the national anthem to be performed by Mr. Nate Merrill from the band Access Armada, our entertainment here at the Big Air Bonanza last night. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nate Merrill with your national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Mr. Nate Merrill performing our national anthem this morning. Thanks a bunch, Nate, as we are just minutes away here from the 2012 USCSA Men's Final. In the Alpine competition, the slalom course is set. 61 big gates, 59 direction changes, as our final forerunner, Jay Bennett, makes his way down the course. And Alex, if these forerunners' first runs, check that. We have a correction. 58 gates with 57 direction changes here on the Monday morning course. Jay Bennett now coming into the finish corral. Alex, it looked like these forerunners actually had a little bit of difficulty here on this course. I wonder if it is foretelling bad news to come.
Could be, boss. That's a very tricky section there. A couple of very sharp turns followed by a hairpin. That could be trouble for some racers who are really carrying a lot of speed into those combinations. We might see a 1 or 2 blowout right there.
So it looks like we are just about ready to get underway here as the final course preparations are being made. The gate judges getting into place. We are 2 minutes away from starter number 1 from the United States Naval Academy. It'll be Patrick Papp. Of course, some advantages and disadvantages of being the first out of the gate. Of course, the obvious, the run is in absolutely pristine condition as the first racer. The disadvantage is no one's been down yet and able to radio information back up to the top. That's something that you might want to take a look at. So a precarious position for Patrick Papp. Alex, have you had an opportunity to be the guinea pig in a race before?
I can't say I have, boss, but I have been the first person down a course, and all eyes are on you. It can be nerve-wracking standing up there knowing that the entire field and every single spectator out there is watching you because you will be setting the bar for the race today.
An absolutely gorgeous day dialed up for us here in the western mountains of Maine at beautiful Sunday River Resort. Currently 31 degrees. It won't get much warmer, but the sun is going to stay out and beam on us all afternoon. 32 degrees, our forecasted high temperature, blue skies, cloudless all day. A wonderful day for championship ski racing here for the USCSA National Championships. Boss Hogg alongside Alex Beatty. We hope you're enjoying our live broadcast coverage at www.uscsa.com. All part of 5 days of coverage on the USCSA Radio Network. We wind things up this afternoon as we bring you coverage of run number 2 of the men's Alpine Slalom. We'll be on the air at 12:45 p.m. with the race beginning at 1. So if you can't make your way out here to a beautiful western Maine, we certainly invite you to tune in on the World Wide Web. Patrick Papp from the Naval Academy. The nerves are all the way up. Dial it to the 11 in the start shack as Patrick Papp now dives into this Monday morning course from the United States Naval Academy. We'll get a good idea here on run number 1 as to some of the problem sections you'll want to pay attention to as Papp makes his way now down through the first third of the Monday morning course. Now over the head wall. Here comes Patrick Papp. He's skiing well. Now into the flats and back to the steeps with a direction change. It's Patrick Papp. The Armed Services Academy is well represented here in the 2012 USCSA National Championships as Papp has a good run going here. Makes his way through the flush. You can see that tight flush right there on the skier's left as they're in the flats. Vicious stuff, and you can see you can't get late. Now Patrick Papp into the final 5 gates comes the midshipman. And across the stripe, it's Papp with a time of 54.24. A good run for the Naval Academy's Patrick Papp. And of course, the best thing about being first out of the gate is you are the leader. Atop the leaderboard, it is Patrick Papp. Now from the University of British Columbia, Michael Bisnair. Bisnair has the fastest time at the split gate. He's ahead of Papp. Can he hold on now? Through the flush, negotiates successfully. It's Mike Bisnair. University of British Columbia couldn't be any further away from Newry, Maine. But it means nothing now as Mike Bisnair wants to take the leader. Right off the podium and across the stripe, it's Bisnair, and he does. With a lightning fast run of 49.27. Mike Bisnair, impressive speed. He's your new leader, Patrick Papp in second. Now on course, it's UMass's Cole Skinner. He'll be followed by Rocky Mountain College's Ollie Freiberg. Skinner with the second fastest time at the split shack. He'll have to make up speed here in the bottom part of the course. A tough flush coming up. Here comes Cole Skinner. Skinner will be followed by Freiberg from Rocky Mountain. And with 3 gates to go, it's Cole Skinner from the University of Massachusetts. And across the stripe in a 52.30, good enough for second place. So if we can get a scoreboard with the top 15 here on our scoring monitor, we will be set. And it's Mike Bisnair currently in the lead from British Columbia. Cole Skinner from UMass in second, and Patrick Papp from the Naval Academy in third. 3 down means we have a first-run podium. But Ollie Freiberg from Rocky Mountain College wants to change it, and he's in the lead. First after the intermediate gate. With 8 gates to go, here comes Ollie Freiberg from Rocky Mountain. Freiberg pushing towards the finish. And across the stripe into the corral comes Freiberg, and he's in the lead. 48.58. Wow, it's getting fast here early on a Saturday morning at Sunday River. So your top 4, Pap, Skinner, Bisnair, and Freiberg. But Luca Rico with an impressive performance in the men's giant slalom just 48 hours ago from Sierra Nevada College. Makes his way through the center section into the lower third, but he is late. Late on a gate, he's been able to recover. He's still on course. Had to scrape some speed. Luca Rico needs to now pick it up. He was second at the split shack. Will it be enough to overtake Ollie Freiberg? With 2 gates to go, here's Luca Rico. And across the stripe, Rico in 49.23. Not enough to supplant Ollie Freiberg. So your top 3, Bisnair, Rico, and Freiberg. Meanwhile, on course, Jeffrey Jacka from the University of Idaho. He'll be followed by Hobart College's Bart Flynn. And Jacka with some difficulty at the head wall. Had to slow him down and scrape some speed a little bit, but now he's back on speed. Into the lower third comes Jeffrey Jacka from Idaho. Now Bart Flynn dropping in from Hobart College. He'll be followed by Joey Vermeulen from Northern Michigan. Meanwhile, here at the bottom, 4 gates to go for Jeffrey Jacka. And now Jacka punching the stripe in a time of 54.47. So it looks like, Alex, if you have to scrape speed anywhere in this Monday morning run, it is really tough to gather yourself and make it up at the bottom.
Absolutely, boss. Especially on the flats, you really got to maintain all your speed. I can see the entire base of Jeffrey Jacka's his skis. They were totally perpendicular to his direction. Usually not a good sign, but he kept it together and still finished pretty strongly.
Now back to live action from Hobart College with 3 gates to go. It's Bart Flynn. Flynn now across the stripe in a time of 51.84, good enough for 4th place. Coming into the top third, into the center section is Joey Vermeulen from Northern Michigan University. Into the flats and now back to the steep with a direction change comes Vermeulen. He'll be followed by Peter Krajek from Columbia. And now into the final 25 gates, it's Joey Vermeulen. And Vermeulen struggling. That flush is a tricky flush as they come over that slight head wall here into the lower third, and Vermeulen missed the gate, but he's going to hike and make it.
Right, boss, and when you're going that fast, these combinations, even if they look like you can simply ski them, they are very tricky. You're carrying a lot of speed, and you have to be very quick on your feet if you want to survive in that flush.
The gates are positioned so tightly together, you can't get behind on one. It'll throw you late for the next one, and then it can be absolutely over if you're not able to recover. Of course, core strength is what allows these racers' bodies to pull the limbs in, get tight and low, and face the body downhill. It'll take the best athletes in collegiate ski racing to win a national championship today. As Vermeulen, he'll get a second run. Thanks to persistence and guts, hiking the gate high above the hill, he'll finish in a time of 105.31, but more importantly, have a second chance this afternoon. Wearing bib 9, Columbia's Peter Krajek. He's on course and at the exact same place that Joey Vermeulen had a problem, as the shadows now set in on the skier's side of this Monday morning course. Peter Krajek got to experience exactly what Joey Vermeulen did, and that's a nasty flush as they come over the lower third head wall into the final 20 gates. More importantly, as you can see, once you scrape all the speed in the flats here, Alex, it is really tough to get it going once again.
That's right, boss. He won't be the last person to scrub speed in that flush, and it really took a toll on his run. He lost a lot of speed and was not moving with the same intensity that he was. Some of it could have been the lack of steepness here on this bottom of this trail, and some of it could have just been the exhaustion of having to hike and mentally prepare yourself for the rest of the course.
Now back to live action. Connor O'Brien from Castleton College. Out of the start gate and through the top third. Now over the head wall comes Connor O'Brien. He'll be followed by Ian Schumann from Syracuse. O'Brien with a good run, 5th fastest at the midpoint. Of course, an optical eye we've set there at the split gate, and sure enough, in the same flush area, Connor O'Brien from Castleton College has extreme difficulty. You can see the wild positioning of the skis as they make their way through the flush. And just like Vermeulen and Krajek, Connor O'Brien from Castleton College is going to have to stop and hike to make the gates.
And wow, he's really cruising here, boss. That was one of the fastest hikes I think I've ever seen. You could tell he really wanted to get back in that course and still finish with an impressive time.
So hats off to Connor O'Brien from Castleton College, finishing in a 106.02. But most importantly, he will get a second run this afternoon. All part of 2 here for the USCSA Men's National Championship Alpine Slalom. Now it's Ian Schumann from Syracuse University. He'll be followed by local favorite University of Maine at Farmington's Alex Rose. And again in the exact same location, Ian Schumann from Syracuse having a tough time negotiating the flush. Don't think that this information is not being radioed to the top, and these athletes are being warned. The problem, Alex Beatty, is that their legs are already nuclear at this point of the run. How much can they actually do? They know it's there, it's in their brains, but do the body follow what the mind tells it to do when it's that tired?
Absolutely, Boston. You can imagine it's a scramble for these coaches on the mountain to get that information to their racers. Surely lots of radio traffic, probably coaches going up to the top of the hill to just prep their athletes to get ready for that one turn. But you know what, boss? This is slalom. This is the most technical event. Speed is important, but it's pure quickness. Right, left, right, left. You have to be early. You have to be on time. You got to be ready for every single turn. And it's going to take the most technical athlete on the field here to win a national championship.
Ian Schumann from Syracuse in 105.92. Now on course, University of Maine, Farmington's Alex Rose, but that's going to be it for Rose. Rose had a tough time coming through the same section, and it looks like we have certainly identified the hot spot here on run number 1 on the Monday morning trail. A nasty set of 4 gates, a flush, real tight together. And you can see it's right at the end, at the front of the head wall, Alex, as they flatten out, coming out of the center section into the lower third, then a slight roller that they come over, and they've thrown a 4-gate flush right at that roller.
That's right, Boston. Just when they've acclimated to that change in pitch, they are getting thrown over that roller and carrying some incredible speed. It's just too much to handle for some of these athletes. I think we've seen like half the field blow out there. It's really incredible.
Now it's Aldo Balabio from the University of Nevada at Reno. Balabio skiing well now. Here into the final 10 gates comes Aldo Balabio. 4th fastest at the split shack. He'll have to make up some time in the bottom. He's skiing well. And across the stripe comes Balabio from University of Nevada, Reno. Good enough for the 2nd position. So Balabio with a 49.20. Right behind now, Ollie Freiberg, still your leader from Rocky Mountain College. Let's break down your top 10. In 10th from Syracuse, Ian Schumann. Joey Vermeulen from Northern Michigan in 9th. It's Jeffrey Jacka from Idaho in 8th slot. Patrick Papp from the United States Naval Academy in 7th. And in 6th, Cole Skinner from the University of Massachusetts. Rounding out your top 5 from Hobart College, it's Bart Flynn. Then British Columbia's Michael Bisnair in 4th. Luca Rico from Sierra Nevada College in the 3rd slot. Aldo Balabio from University of Nevada, Reno in 2nd. And still your leader from Rocky Mountain College, it's Ollie Freiberg. Now back to live racing action as Nick Stang from St. Olaf College, wearing bib number 14. He makes his way down. And I think we have a birthday note for Gary Stang from St. Olaf. I suspect that is probably Nick Stang's dad. Gary Stang celebrating a birthday here at the USCSA National Championships. We'd like to wish him a happy birthday. And boy, what a present it would be for Gary Stang, for Nick Stang, to throw down the goods. And as soon as I say it, Stang comes through the difficult section of the course, loses a ski, blows out, and once the skis are off, the show is over.
So tough break for Nick Stang right there, boss. He was carrying a lot of speed and just couldn't set that last turn right there. Coming out of that flush, he took a tough fall, but he's right back up, and we'll see him later on, but that is the end of his day, boss.
So Alex Rose now out of the competition. Nick Stang out of the competition. Just to hold on and make the second run appears to be the soup du jour here on run number 1.
It looks like Zachary Breakstone of Babson had a little trouble on one of those first gates. He's already hiking back in the course now, and good thing it's gonna be a killer for his run, boss. But luckily he fell up with some steeps left to come, and he can really harness the level of the mountain, the pitch there, to really carry some speed into the flats. That's going to be crucial if he wants to make the flip.
Meanwhile, Babson College's Zachary Breakstone makes his way into the lower third, now into the tough section in 2. Babson Zachary Breakstone straddles the gate. That's going to be the end for Breakstone in exactly the same position. Don't think the information isn't at the start shack. These racers know what's happening here in the lower third over the head wall. But even with the knowledge in their brain, it is tough for them to make the adjustment, as it is a wicked set there with a 4-gate flush that is costing racers left and right run number 2. Let's see if we'll have better luck for Tomek Dobransky from Penn State. Dobransky, the Nittany Lion, now into the center section, making his way to the lower third. Now over the head wall, you'll see Dobransky. Dobransky gets through the flush. Now Dobransky. Into the final 15 gates comes Penn State's Tomek Dobransky. He'll be followed by Tomas Grosjean from Stanford. But with 4 gates to go here at the bottom, it is Tomek Dobransky from Penn State University. And across the stripe in a time of 54.19. But it looks like, no, we're okay. Dobransky clean through with a 54.19, good enough for 7th place.
And you can see his quickness coming out of that flush, boss. That was key. The only way you can survive that difficult section is to have absolutely perfect quickness from foot to foot. It is absolutely key, edge to edge, and it looks like Thomas Grosjean, he struggled there a little bit, but he's back on the course, and he will hopefully be getting that second run.
Again, as you can see, once you lose the speed in the bottom, it is so tough to get back going again. The legs are completely on fire. Your brain gets out of rhythm, the body out of rhythm with the left and right swing. It takes every bit of mental and physical strength to gather yourself to come back from the scrape. But Thomas Grosjean from Stanford University does exactly that. With a time of 1:02.93, he'll be afforded a second run this afternoon. Now from the University of Minnesota Duluth, it's Nels Ronigen. He'll be followed by Clarkson University's Jean-Philippe Phaneuf. Phaneuf, of course, had a fantastic regional championship. Alex Beatty, you were able to actually attend that that regional championship. We'll talk about that in just a second. As the University of Minnesota Duluth's Nels Ronigen struggles in the exact same area, the 4-gate flush at the top of the head wall in the bottom third. But he hikes and recovers. Now across the stripe, it's Ronigen from Minnesota Duluth with a time of 59.83. Now on course it is Clarkson's Jean-Philippe Phaneuf, the regional champion. Talk about what you saw him do 2 weeks ago, Alex.
Oh, Jean-Philippe Phaneuf, he knows slalom, boss. He crushed it at regionals, beating the field by, I believe, a whole second. Totally dominated the slalom, but it looks like he is really struggling here, boss.
And in the same location, Phaneuf, a champion slalom racer here in the USCSA, and he too unable to negotiate the flush, and that's going to be the end of the day for Jean-Philippe Phaneuf. An amazing turn of events here in run number 1 of this men's slalom championship.
And the loss of some of these top-seeded racers for their teams is going to throw the whole team standings into disorder, boss. It'll be really interesting to see how that plays out and to see which team can take home the gold.
Now on course from Cornell University, it's Eric Barnum. He'll be followed by Michigan State University's Connor Cloting. Quickly going over your top 5, not much change. We're having a tough time getting skiers to the finish line here on run number 1. In 5th from Hobart College, it's Bart Flynn. Then British Columbia's Michael Bisnair in the 4th slot. 3rd belongs to Sierra Nevada College's Luca Rico. Aldo Balabio from Nevada Reno in 2nd. And still your leader, Ollie Freiberg. And now, Eric Barnum from Cornell University, struggling in the exact same spot, the 4-gate flush. It appears he actually made it through the flush, but he was so late on the final gate, there was no chance at the first big red gate outside of the flush. So just when you think you've successfully negotiated it, then you've got to make a hard left boot turn to the right and try to capture that red gate, and he was unable to do it.
That's a tough break for Eric Barnum. He hiked all the way up there, but I guess wasn't sure about which gate he had missed. He skied out of the course, and that'll be the end of his day.
So 25% of the field already gone out of this race. 15 have successfully come down. 5 are gone. Boy, that is an intense number here for a USCSA men's Alpine slalom final. Meanwhile, on course, Michigan State's Connor Cloting. Cloting having a good run in the top 3rd as he comes into the flat and over the middle slot head wall. Now Cloting really letting the hips do the action, trying to use the edges, keeping the body pointed downhill on the line. Now let's see what he does in the flush. Here comes Cloting, and he does. Again, late, but he's still on course. So Cloting was able to pull it back together, although extremely late, as we said, in that red gate outside the flush. But Cloting's got a good run going, and now good speed for Cloting with 4 gates to go. Here comes Connor Cloting from Michigan State University across the stripe in a 53.34. That's good enough for 7th position for Connor Cloting.
And even though he lost a lot of speed coming out of the flush, he's still going to be very competitive in the race to come just by virtue of the fact that so many of these racers either don't finish or just totally blow out and lose all their speed. It's really unbelievable, boss.
Anybody's race here today. We like it that way. Connor Cloting from Michigan State in the top 10. Now on course, wearing bib 22 from Whitman College, it's Nathan Ord. Ord with a good run going. He was 15th fastest at the split shack. Now with 5 gates to go comes Nathan Ord as the legs burn, but he punches across the stripe. And into the corral, it's a Nathan Ord from Whitman College. And a top 10 finish, 52.47. Good enough for 7th place for Ord. Now through the center section comes Penn State Altoona's Devin Dymek. Dymek now into the flat section, approaching the lower 3rd in the tough 4-gate flush. Now here comes Dymek. Dymek makes it through but has to scrape speed. Again, a tough section right there for Dymek. Just when you think you've survived through the flush, then a big red gate with a hard left boot turn to the right. It's thrown right at you. As Devin Dymek from Penn State Altoona. Now across the stripe in a time of 58.45. Billy Buffington, he is wearing bib number 24 from the University of Nunn. That's what it says here on our screen. We'll have to check where he is going to school. Check that. It looks like he has been replaced with a bib number 25, RPI's Paul Kottke. So while we have a hold here on the course, let's go over your top 10. Patrick Papp from the Naval Academy in 10th. Penn State University's Tomek Dobransky in 9th. 8th belongs to Michigan State University's Connor Cloting. Then it's Whitman College's Nathan Ord in 7th. In 6th spot, UMass's Cole Skinner. Now rounding out your top 5. From Hobart College, Bart Flynn in 5th. 4th, belonging to the University of British Columbia's Michael Bisnair. Sierra Nevada College's Luca Rico in the 3rd position. Currently sitting 2nd on the podium from Nevada Reno, it's Aldo Balabio. And still your leader, coming out of the 4th starting position. From Rocky Mountain College with a first run time of 48.58, it's Ollie Freiberg. Now back to live racing action. Through the center section comes Paul Kotke from RPI. Ninth fastest at the split shack. He'll have to make up some time to crack the top 5. And he successfully negotiates the flush, but then unable to make the gate out of the flush. The same section. It is proving to be a beast here in the lower third as they crest the head wall into the first roller. As we have said all morning long, a 4-gate flush that is absolutely wicked.
Not only is the set there really tricky, boss, you have to imagine that these snow conditions must be totally bizarre at this point. The ski is going in every which way direction. You know, it must be totally unexpected conditions for these racers coming down to that section.
And hats off to Paul Kotke from RPI, successfully making his way down across the stripe in a time of 1:08.38. Good enough for 18th position, but most importantly, Kotke just surviving run number 1 here. So he'll have an opportunity to improve upon the position later on today. Boss Hogg and Alex Beatty bringing you all of the action from the Barker Broadcast Center here at Sunday River, Maine. Part of our USCSA Radio Network coverage of the 2012 USCSA National Championships. As Rob Visconti from Northeastern. He's got a good run going here, and Visconti now across the stripe in a time of 51:31. That's good enough for 5th place from local favorite Northeastern University's Rob Visconti. Alex, you've had a chance to follow Visconti for some time now.
That's right, boss. I've been skiing against Rob Visconti for about 3 years now. He's a great skier to watch. Since skiing out of the birth canal, he has dominated the Thompson division. Of course, his first word was slalom, and he really showed it here, dominating this course with a very impressive 5th place finish after the first run.
Now into the lower third with 10 gates to go is Brian Kazar from the University of Colorado. And punching his way across the stripe into the corral is Brian Kazar with a time of 52.04. Good enough for 7th position for Brian Kazar. So Kazar sitting good for run number 2. Still tons of racers to come down. Over 75 racers left to go. As now on course, it's Anton Larson from Rocky Mountain College. Larson with a great GS 48 hours ago. Let's see if he can follow it up with a high-quality performance in the slalom, and he does. He really does negotiate that flush well. One of the best we've seen all morning long. He was 7th fastest at the split shack, but he's got some speed here in the lower third with 5 gates to go. It's Rocky Mountain's Anton Larson. And now Larson punching across the stripe with a time of 50.49. Good enough for top 5 for Anton Larson. He's currently in the 5th slot. So it's Larson, Bisnair, Rico, Balabio, and still Ollie Freiberg atop your leaderboard. Now on course, Luke Terhart from the University of British Columbia wearing bib 28. He'll be followed by the University of Maine at Farmington. No, we'll check that. We'll check that. Is that right? We'll have a provisional run. We're not sure if Rose did clip a gate or not, so they'll give him another opportunity just in case he did not. Luke Terhart from British Columbia with 5 gates to go for Terhart. Terhart 20th fastest at the split shack. Let's see how he does at the stripe in a time of 53.65. That's good enough for 12th for Luke Terhart from British Columbia. Alex Rose with his 2nd attempt here as a result of taking a provisional run. They'll work it all out during the break, but University of Maine Farmington's Alex Rose, coached by Coach Harry Ricker. Now on course through the center section into the lower third comes Rose. And Rose successfully navigates the flush. He's got a good run going here. One more flush for Rose. He's okay through it with 8 gates to go. Local University of Maine Farmington's Alex Rose punching his way across the stripe in a time of 52.47. And that's good enough for top 10 so far. Still 70 racers to go. Cornell University's Ryan Sorrell on course. He'll be followed by Colorado's Ben Barszewski. Now out of the top third into the center, down the head wall comes Ryan Sorrell from Cornell University. Highly technical here on this Monday morning trail. as Sorrell is late through the flush, but he successfully navigates it. Now the legs are tired. Fire shooting out of the front of his ski boots. You know it's tough as he's being thrown around the last 4 gates here. But he collects himself and crosses the stripe in 53.89. Good enough for 14th place for Cornell University's Ryan Sorrell.
And that flush really threw him, boss. You could tell he successfully survived it. He'll be getting a second run, but it threw him in the back seat, and it had an effect on the rest of his run. Still a very strong performance from Ryan Sorrell.
A wild ride for Sorrell, ends up in a good time. He'll be back for run 2 later this afternoon. Meanwhile, Columbia University's Ben Barszewski on course. He'll be followed by the University of Idaho's Travis Soderquist. On an epic Saturday morning here, crystal blue skies, a few white puffy clouds now rolling in. Just enough to cause shadows to come across this Monday morning run if it wasn't hard enough with the gate set. Let's throw him some light condition changes as well, see if we can make it a little tougher. But this is where we separate the men from the boys, Alex Beatty, at a USCSA National Championship. And although it may be a very difficult and wicked first run here on the Monday Morning Trail, that's what we like to see here at the big races.
Absolutely, boss, and these are the best racers in the country. They can handle any conditions, any course set, and some of them are putting on a very impressive show today, boss. It's really a pleasure to watch.
So Columbia University's Ben Barszewski now across the stripe in a 1:23.86. He'll be followed by Idaho's Travis Soderquist. And in the start shack, awaiting run number 1 from Stanford University, wearing bib 32, it's Matthew Tappert. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, if you're here live in the venue, it takes a village to put on a national championship slalom race. Gatekeepers all up and down both sides of this hill, along with judges, technical delegates, coaches, volunteers, everybody coming together to put on a show here for you today at Sunday River. We hope you're enjoying exciting championship ski racing on the USCSA Radio Network. University of Idaho's Travis Soderquist across the line in a time of 57.64. Now it's Stanford University's Matthew Tappert wearing bib 32 on course. He'll be followed by University of Maine Farmington Sam Ricker.
And Matthew Tappert, the freshman out of Stanford, originally from Quebec, Canada. He loves rock and roll, boss, and you have to imagine he loved the show they put on last night, Axis Armada at the Big Air. It was great to watch and great to listen to.
Sam Ricker now coming down. Sam Ricker coming down the hill next. Tappert into the final 5 gates. And now on course at the top, it is Sam Ricker. Sam Ricker, an apple farmer from Turner, Maine, skis out of Sugarloaf, USA. Of course, coached by his dad, Harry Ricker. He likes to goat wrestle, plays ping pong, and he's a college Republican. That's brave here in the state of Maine. He's a brave kid, though, and certainly with the best haircut of all the skiers here. They had a mullet competition in the University of Maine Farmington right before the national championships. He and fellow teammate Josh Cooley with possibly the most hideous haircuts I've ever seen in my life, and they loved him as Ricker punches the gate. And Ricker with a good time of 56.49, good enough for 18th position. So he'll hope to hold on the top 30 positions here to make the flip. We'll talk about that in just a second. Of course, Ricker must be attributing some of the speed here this morning to the haircut. If you see Ricker, make sure you ask him to take the helmet off so he can show you that awfulness. Meanwhile, back to live action. St. Olaf College's Max Lund. Now on course into the final 10 gates comes Lund. He'll be followed by Cedric Dubois from Clarkson. Now Lund with a good run going here. Let's see what he can do across the stripe. Fast enough for 7th position for Max Lund. from St. Olaf College with a time of 51:36.
And you gotta know he's got a cheering section there at the finish corral. The St. Olaf ladies can't talk about Max Lund enough. The 7th-year senior out of St. Olaf. Max Lund, truly a celebrity on the team.
Well, when you've been in college that long, you know everyone in the school. Max Lund with a successful first run. He'll be back for number 2 later on today. Meanwhile, Clarkson University's Cedric Dubois skiing well here, but late into the final 4 gates. He'll punch his way across the line into the corral. Dubois with a time of 52:17, good enough for the 10th position. While Steven Zotter from Castleton College now starts his run out of the shack. Penn State's Tyler Smith is next. We'll break down the top 10. It's Dubois, Kazar, Flynn, Lund, and Visconti. Rounding out your top 5, Larson, Bisnair, Rico, Balabio, and still your leader from Rocky Mountain College, it's Ollie Freiberg. And sure enough, through the same 4 gates flush, Steven Zotter from Castleton College, he has to ski out of the course, and that's going to be the end of the day for Zotter. A tough break for Castleton's Steven Zotter, as just like many of the other competitors here, tons of them as a matter of fact, including champion racer Jean-Philippe Fanu, blowing out right as they enter the lower 3rd here. Over the head wall, they're thrown to a 4-gate flush, and then a nasty left boot hard right-hand turn into a gate which many of these racers are unable to navigate. Back to live action, Penn State University's Tyler Smith, the Nittany Lion, now through the center section into the lower 3rd. Let's see if he can get through the flush. Here comes Tyler Smith. Smith had to scrape some speed, but he's still on course. Tyler Smith from Penn State now into the final 10 gates and dropping in from the start shack, Syracuse University's Ryan Leake. So Smith and Leake on course. They'll be followed by David Neustel. Meanwhile, Tyler Smith punching the stripe in a time of 57:59. That's good enough for the 21st position. Of course, finishing in the top 30 here on the first run, a very important achievement because that's how we determine the start order for run number 2. We'll take the 30 fastest times here in the first run. We will reverse the order, and that's the order they'll come down later on this afternoon in run number 2. So the 30th fastest this morning will start first this afternoon. 29th starts second, and so on. We call that the flip in ski racing. And it is an important designation because that means you get the first runs on the track. No chance for any kind of track breakdown when you're in the top 30. Meanwhile, across the stripe, it's Syracuse University's Ryan Leake. He's in 21st position. And now down, high atop this Monday morning trail as he made his way out of the top 3rd into the middle. It is David Neustel from the University of Minnesota in Duluth. And Neustel skiing over to the side of the trail here. Looks like that might be the end of the day for Minnesota Duluth's David Neustel. A tough break for Neustel.
That was a spectacular crash, boss. He hooked the tip and went flying. Double backflips. Truly an impressive performance. He's right now collecting his gear. A big yard sale there for David Neustel.
But great effort from the David Neustel as he makes his way down the hill here. Stefan Schmidt from the Naval Academy now on course. Coming out of the top 3rd into the center section, into the flat, and over the head wall comes Stefan Schmidt. Schmidt with a good run going here. Let's see if he can keep it going. 21st after the intermediate split shack. Now into the tough section comes Stefan Schmidt. And Schmidt through the flush. Now into the final 15 gates comes Schmidt. He's a little late, trying to recover now into the second flush. Schmidt still on his feet. Pointing the skis downhill on the line, keeping the body still, trying to let the hips do all the work. And across the stripe comes Stefan Schmidt from the Naval Academy in a time of 54:76. Now on course wearing bib 41, it's UMass's Connor Krell. He'll be followed by Babson College's Gregory LaFrance. Down the head wall comes Connor Krell. Now Krell into the flush. He's through the flush. Getting late there, but now recovering comes Connor Krell from UMass. And Connor Krell with 3 gates to go from the zoo. Crosses the stripe in a time of 53.44. A good run for Krell. That'll put him in the 15th position. Now on course from Babson College, it's Greg LaFrance wearing bib number 42. He'll be followed by Hobart College's Weston Traub. And it looks like right here at the end, no, that was, we'll check the bib number there. Meanwhile, it's Babson College's Greg LaFrance. He was 4th fastest at the intermediate split. So he's got a good run going here, Alex.
Absolutely, boss. He's really carrying a lot of speed there. Over the finish, he's going to have a great time.
Actually, it looks like the lower third was a tough ride for Greg LaFrance, as it's only good enough for 20th position with a time of 54.47. Hobart College's Western Traub now in the 40, wearing bib 43. Coming into the lower third, he'll be followed by Northern Michigan University's Kevin Prystaff. Remember, we'll be back at 12:15 this afternoon for the start of our broadcast coverage on the USCSA Radio Network of run number 2 for the men's USCSA National Championship Alpine Slalom. The racers will start coming down for run 2 at 12:30 p.m. this afternoon. We hope you'll join us at www.uscsa.com at 12:15 as we will resume coverage here from Sunday River, the beautiful Barker Mountain Base Lodge, the bottom of the Monday Morning Trail. Weston Traub from Hobart College across in 53.70. It's good enough for 17th position. Meanwhile, Northern Michigan University's Kevin Prystaff now into the lower third. He'll be followed by Yaka Yazbek from Sierra Nevada College. He is one to watch in this race. Yazbek, the national champion 48 hours ago in the men's giant slalom, now drops in the top. Across the stripe comes Kevin Prystaff from Northern Michigan with a time of 59.19. But keep your eyes on Yaka Yazbek from Sierra Nevada College. Successfully through the top third into the center section. Now down the head wall. You can see the speed here from Yazbek. But only 11th fastest through the intermediate gate. So definitely this course is changing as the morning goes on. And there it is. In the exact same position. Yaka Yazbek comes out and shot out of the 4-gate flush. And Yazbek now back on course. So he appears to have made all of the gates, but he had to stop. Now has to collect his body and mind for the final 8 gates. He's late, but he's still trying. Here comes Yaka Yazbek. And Yazbek across the stripe in 58.28. So a tough break for the men's giant slalom national champion just 48 hours ago, with an incredible turn of events with Marcus Plyer. We'll talk about that in just a bit. Meanwhile, Nevada Reno's Zach Fretz on course wearing bib 46. He'll be followed by Castleton College's Chad Hawkins. Let's quickly run down your top 10 from Clarkson College. In the 10th slot, it is Cedric Dubois. In the 9th position, Brian Kazar from the University of Colorado. In the 8th slot, Bart Flynn from Hobart College. In 7th, it's Max Lund from St. Olaf College. In the 6th position, it is Rob Visconti from Northeastern University. Now rounding out your top 5, it's Anton Larson from Rocky Mountain College. In the 4th slot, Michael Bisnair from the University of British Columbia. In 3rd, Luca Rico from Sierra Nevada College. Runner-up Aldo Balabio from University of Nevada, Reno. And still your leader from Rocky Mountain College, it's Ollie Freiberg. Now back to live action, Chad Hawkins from Castleton College. Coming across in 55.11. And Ben Carroll from Penn State University is down off course. And that'll be the end of the day for the Nittany Lion wearing bib 49, Ben Carroll.
Ben Carroll ran into trouble at that top of the course, very steep section. You got to know it's very icy right now, boss. These racers are scraping off snow as they go. And of course, today's conditions, not like we've seen the rest of the week. It is chilly up there, and that packed powder is hiding a layer of ice underneath, and that's definitely coming out here in this course, boss.
Wearing bib 50, it's Jake Seidel from Syracuse University, and Seidel has a tough time making his way into the center section transition over the head wall. And it looks like Seidel is going to try to hike and make that gate, but it is at the steepest part of the trail. The legs are already on fire, and now they've got to do this. A real testament to the will of these athletes. They want that second run badly. They want that name on the finish sheet. Doesn't matter what position it's in, because it's a USCSA National Championship finish order. And look at this, the guts that this kid's showing us. Jake Seidel from Syracuse University. Hikes what may be the steepest part of this men's first run. Now he's back in action, but can he collect himself? He's got the treacherous four-gate flush to look forward to. And here comes Seidel. Through the flush is Seidel. He's able to get through it. And now back into the rhythm is Seidel.
And you could tell that hike really took a toll there. He was late coming into that final flat section. Actually ripped a gate off. Some revenge for these athletes for that brutal flush there as he tears out one of those blue gates.
And he has difficulty here with 3 gates to go, but Seidel earned a second run. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen, for Syracuse University's Jake Seidel. That is what ski racing is all about. A lot of guts shown by Seidel here in the first run of the men's Alpine Slalom National Final.
Absolutely, boss. It's important to note that after you hike that first time, the chances that you're going to have to do it again get so much higher. Just the exhaustion. It's hard to set those edges and carve down this course. And these athletes, it can just be absolutely exhausting for these racers, boss.
Now on course, the University of Idaho's Nicholas Howell. He'll be followed by Babson College's Kevin Dakos. Håkon Schoenhader from St. Olaf College in the start shack awaiting run number 1. Meanwhile, here at the bottom, Nicholas Howell from Idaho. He's hiking for the finish. He wants a second run. And now he's back on course. So another gutsy performance from Nicholas Howell from the University of Idaho. Howell earned a second run that he'll get this afternoon. Bib 52, Kevin Dakos from Babson College, now into the lower third. Dakos, 17th fastest at the split shack. He's got a good run going here, wants to finish top 30, and he certainly will as he crosses the stripe in 52-32. And a good performance from the middle of the pack from Babson College's Kevin Dakos. That's good enough for 12th position. Now Håkon Schoenhader from St. Olaf College on course. He'll be followed by British Columbia's Ben Middleton. St. Olaf feeling a great Alpine team here this year. And into the lower third comes Håkon Schoenhader. Successfully navigates the flush, and he's skiing well, really letting the hip swing back and forth, trying to keep the body pointing downhill onto the line. He's a little late, but he's recovering. Here comes Håkon Schoenhader from St. Olaf College. And across a stripe at 50.62. A dynamite run for Håkon Schoenhader. Good enough for 6th position. So Schoenhader really gathered himself in the lower third and strung together 3 sections on this Monday morning trail that produces a top 10 finish.
Sure thing, boss. And he really turned it on there in the flats. You have to wonder if these skiers from the Midwest, they get a lot of practice on less flat terrain, and that really paid off there, boss.
Indeed it did. A good slider in Håkon Schoenhader. Now British Columbia's Ben Middleton, 29th fastest at the split shack. He'll have to make up some time as he tucks for the finish line. And into the corral comes Ben Middleton from the University of British Columbia, and he does make up time here in the lower third. Good enough for 19th position with a time of 53.46. Anybody's race here this afternoon, as this Monday morning trail has proven to be a wicked hard.
That's right, boss. And you have to wonder if the long arm of USCSA chairman Mark Sullivan did not have a hand to play in the setting of this course. Of course, known and feared for setting some of the most difficult and technical courses you will ever see. Clearly, whoever set this course was channeling the energy of Mark Sullivan.
3 gates to go for Andrew Becker from Northern Michigan University, and Becker across the stripe in a 1:00:86. That'll put him in the 37th position. Hari Ganti from Stanford University on course. Great to see Stanford represented here at the USCSA National Championships. William O'Connor from Clarkson wearing bib 57 awaits run number 1 in the start jack. Let's take a look at your top 20 from University of British Columbia. In 20th, Luke Terhart. Ben Middleton, also from UBC, in 19th. And it's UMass's Connor Krell in the 18th slot. 17th belongs to Connor Clothing from Michigan State University. And in the 16th position from Nevada Reno, it's Zach Fretz. Meanwhile, here at the bottom of the run, Hari Ganti from Stanford University. 3 gates to go for Ganti. And he is going to get a second run here. The Cardinal across the stripe into the finish corral. It's Hari Ganti. A time of 1:11:61. William O'Connor from Clarkson. Now out of this intersection into the lower third. Here comes the flush for O'Connor. And O'Connor through the flush. Good skiing from O'Connor right there. He kept his speed well. He's going to have a good, fast lower third here. William O'Connor right on the bubble at 31st. Will he be able to make the flip? Here comes Clarkson's William O'Connor, and across the stripe it's O'Connor, and yes, it is good enough. 53.24 puts William O'Connor in the 17th position.
That was all edge for William O'Connor, boss. I don't even know if his bases touched the snow on that run at all. Very impressive performance by Clarkson's William O'Connor.
Certainly in the lower third, we got to see him really pick up the speed. He poured it on. Now it's Rocky Mountain College's Bjorn Twas. Twas, a great GS performance 2 days ago here on the same run. And now Bjorn Twas. Into the final 8 gates comes Twas. Punching the gates out of the way, it's Bjorn Twas. Now into the tuck and across the stripe with a time of 51.90. Good enough for 10th place for Bjorn Twas. Real interesting to watch these skiers as they get through the top half. They come through the intermediate split gate. They're behind, and then somehow they turn it on in the lower third and move up incredibly fast.
That's right, boss. And with that impressive finish by Bjorn Twas, that puts Rocky Mountain in the 1st, 5th, and 10th spots right now. They are holding on to first place. Of course, many talented racers yet to come. That may change, boss.
Now University of Maine Farmington's Josh Cooley having all kinds of difficulty there on the top of the course. He hiked once, then got back on course, couldn't get the rhythm back together, and that's going to be the end of the day for Josh Cooley. Tough break for the University of Maine at Farmington's Josh Cooley. Although he is sporting another one of the UMF mullets. In fact, in my opinion, the finest of the mullet team. Now back to live ski racing action from University of Massachusetts. It's Cameron Geller on course. Coming out of the top third into the wild part of the head wall, and he collects himself. He's back on a line. Cameron Geller with a wild ride going here as he makes his way into the flat section down the lower third in the 4-gate flush. Here comes Geller. Geller's late, but he recovers. And now Geller back on track. 41st fastest at the split shack. He'll need to pour it on here in the bottom to make the flip. Will it be enough for UMass's Cameron Geller with 3 gates to go? Into the tuck and across the stripe, it's Geller. In a time of 56.36. Good enough for 31st position. He needed to go a little faster here in the lower third to make that flip. but he'll get a second run later this afternoon. Meanwhile, the midshipman from the Naval Academy, William Lavis. He's wearing bib 61 on course. And now waiting at the top start shack, it's Sierra Nevada's Marcus Plyer. Plyer leading the men's giant slalom after the first run by over a second. All he had to do was ski down in the second run and he would have had a national championship. But he's not wired that way. He went for it, let it all hang out in run number 2. And he blew out halfway down the course, eliminating his chance for a national championship. I'll tell you, this Marcus Plyer from Sierra Nevada College has got guts, and he's coming down next. He wants to avenge what happened here 48 hours ago. He wants to try to get a national championship here in the slalom. Alex, as a ski racer, talk about the difference between the slalom and the giant slalom. Rarely do you find guys that excel at both of these events. They're just very, very different. Certainly a lot more speed in the GS, whereas a lot more technical here in the slalom. Rarely do you find athletes that can win both of these events.
Absolutely, boss. Usually athletes have preference for one event over another. Of course, the GS much faster and much longer than a slalom with much larger turns and longer skis to make those turns. It can be harder to turn those skis on the GS, but of course you pick up a lot more speed in slalom. Shorter skis, shorter turns, there's some cross-blocking involved. It's a totally different event, much slower and much shorter courses. You usually see racers who are speed specialists or technical specialists, and as you can see, there's been such a difference in the standings between today and the GS race. It's made a huge difference, boss.
As some extra gates come down here in the bucket, down at the bottom of the Monday morning trail. We have a hold on the course as they're going to scrape out some of the ruts that are developing here on the lower part of the run. And now dropping out, it is Marcus Plyer from Sierra Nevada College. Plyer wants this race badly. And don't think he'll hold one thing back here. This is going to be a fabulous run to watch from Sierra Nevada College's Marcus Plyer. Was leading after run number 1 in the GS. Went for it on run 2 and blew out, costing him the championship. Now he's back again today in the slalom. Through the flush comes Plyer, late but still on. Plyer holding good speed here in the lower third, you can tell. Let's see if he can make it up. Marcus Plyer now with 8 gates to go. Here comes Sierra Nevada College's Marcus Plyer with a good run and across the stripe in a time of 51.15. That's good enough for 7th place for Sierra Nevada College's Marcus Plyer. Now on course from Hobart College, it's Sam Wallace. He's wearing bib 63. Still 50 racers to go here this morning's run. He'll be followed by Cornell University's Nicholas Balta. Let's finish our top 20 countdown. In 15th, Kevin Dacos from Babson College. In 14th, Cole Skinner from UMass. Clarkson's Cedric Dubois in the 13th position. Then it's University of Colorado's Brian Kazar in 12th. 11th, belonging to Bjorn Twas from Rocky Mountain College. And now Sam Wallace from Hobart College. Into the final 3 gates comes Wallace. Wallace across the stripe in a 101.02. Cornell's Nicholas Balta on course. He'll be followed by Tyler Ringenscheid from the University of Minnesota Duluth. Rounding out your top 10 now, Bart Flynn in the 10th position from Hobart. Then it's Max Lund in 9th from St. Olaf. Northeastern University's Rob Visconti in 8th. Marcus Plyer from Sierra Nevada in 7th. And in 6th from St. Olaf, it's Hakan Schoeneder. Rounding out your top 5 from Rocky Mountain College, it's Anton Larson. Meanwhile, Nicholas Balta from Cornell University across the stripe in a 55.24. In 4th, University of British Columbia's Michael Bisnair. Then it's Luca Rico from Sierra Nevada in third. Second belongs to Aldo Balavio from Nevada Reno. And still your leader. Fourth down the mountain, wearing bib number 4 with a time of 48:58. From Rocky Mountain College, it's Ollie Freiberg. Boss Hogg and Alex Beatty bringing you the action here from the Barker Broadcast Center on the USCSA Radio Network. On a glorious Saturday morning of blue skies, warm temperatures, plenty of sun and fun.
Absolutely, boss. The sun is out. It is shining. A glorious day here at Sunday River. Just excited to be here, and hopefully I'm going to carve some turns during the break.
Now across the stripe comes Tyler Ringenscheid from University of Minnesota Duluth with a time of 1:00.43. Penn State University's Doug Surratt on course. He'll be followed by the Naval Academy's Ryan Comer. Meanwhile, a tough time for Surratt already, just fresh out of the gate. He's not 8 gates into the run. Looks like he's going to stop and hike and make the gate. Now he's back on course. Both a physical and mental challenge once you've stopped high above the run to get back into the rhythm. Usually takes a few gates to do that. And it looks like Doug Surratt back on course and skiing relatively well. Now out of the center section into the lower third comes Surratt.
That's right, boss. And one of the toughest parts of hiking, the part that no one ever talks about, is figuring out which gate you missed. On some of these crashes, these racers have no idea which gate they missed, especially if you have slid down 2 or 3. That can be the biggest struggle of hiking, and it looks like Doug Surratt is struggling. He is out of the course, boss.
That's going to be the end of the day for Surratt, a tough break. Now it's Ryan Comer from the Naval Academy, the midshipman into the lower third or the top third, making the transition into the center part of the course. Here comes Ryan Comer. He'll be followed by Sebastian Dumont from the University of Maine at Farmington. Don't forget the half-pipe competition now underway here in the big half-pipe right next to the Alpine venue at Barker Mountain. We have ladies and men's snowboard half-pipe on the plate for you today, and then we'll have the skier half-pipe, both for the ladies and the men's. We'll crown national champions in all 4 of those events today. And a great vantage point right here from the deck at Barker Mountain. Lots of folks on hand to enjoy this national championship competition. Meanwhile, across the stripe from the Naval Academy, it's Ryan Comer with a 107.12. And on course, University of Maine Farmington's Sebastian Dumont. Now Dumont making his way into the flush. He'll be followed by Pal Protz from St. Olaf. Pal Protz with a good run in the GS here 2 days ago. And now with 8 gates to go, it's Sebastian Dumont from the University of Maine Farmington. Dropping in out of the shack, it's Pal Protz, now on course from St. Olaf. And punching the stripe from UMF, it's Sebastian Dumont with a time of 107.43. Corey Panuski from University of Minnesota Duluth, now in the start shack awaiting his first run. Meanwhile, through the center section comes Pal Protz. He's on the bubble at the midway point. 30th position at the split. He'll need to ski quickly and clean to make the flip. St. Olaf College's Pal Protz. Now making his way down through the last 15 gates comes Protz. Now Pal Protz with 3 gates to go. Punching them out of the way and across the stripe into the corral, it's Protz. And it's fast enough for the flip. 19th position for Pal Protz from St. Olaf College with a time of 53.11.
You can tell he's sharpened his skis very recently, boss. Really handling all those turns very well and carving like a champion. Pal Protz, he had a great time. Of course, this course, the snow is very grippy, but only if you have recently tuned those skis. If not, it can feel like a sheet of ice, boss.
And a wild ride now for the University of Minnesota Duluth, Corey Panuski. He got to have some fun in the middle part of the course on that head wall, and then some more fun during the 4-gate flush here in the lower third, but he survived it all. Corey Panuski, the survivor from the University of Minnesota Duluth, and he's going to get a second run. Well, that was a wild ride for Corey Panuski. 58.93 on the first run, good enough for the 41st slot, but most importantly, he'll be back for run number 2 later on today.
That's right, boss. And you can tell he slid out a little bit right after one of those combinations. It's very slippery conditions there, and as I said before, it requires absolutely perfect tuning to stay in this course.
Cornell University's Joseph Damari on course into the lower third with 8 gates to go comes Damari. He'll be followed by Northern Michigan University's Danny Sutter, and then it's Samuel Hahn from Idaho in the start shack. Across the stripe comes Damari. Cornell's Joseph Damari with a time of 55.86. Now wearing bib 74, it's Danny Suter. Still 27 racers to come. Sam Hahn high atop the Monday morning trail awaiting run number 1. Meanwhile, through the center section, it's Danny Suter. Your top 10, Max Lund. Check that. Bart Flynn in 10th. Max Lund in 9th. Rob Visconti in 8th. Marcus Plyer in 7th. Håkan Schoenhader in 6th. Rounding out your top 5, Anton Larson in 5th. Mike Bisner in 4th. Luca Rico in 3rd. Aldo Balabio in 2nd. And still your leader from early in the pack. From Rocky Mountain College, it's Ali Freiberg. Meanwhile, Danny Suter from Northern Michigan University crossing the stripe in a 103.65. Sam Hahn now from the University of Idaho on course wearing bib 75. Nice to see the Idaho contention here in Sunday River, Maine, as last year we were at beautiful Sun Valley, Idaho for the 2011 USCSA National Championships. And it appears that's where we're going to be again for the 2013 USCSA National Championships. A beautiful venue out west with gorgeous facilities and absolutely incredibly competent and fantastic race crew. But can anyone hold a candle to our friends here at Sunday River? I will tell you, Alex Beatty, there are few who know how to do it better than the crew here at Sunday River, making this week absolutely fantastic for almost 600 athletes from 135 different colleges, all gathering around the Western Maine Mountains, competing in the Nordic competitions down at the Bethel Cross Country Center, all of the snowboard competitions and skier cross and border cross competitions here at Barker Mountain, and then a complete slate of giant slalom and alpine slalom racing for both the men and women here at Barker. Jake Treadwell and the crew, they know how to get it done here, and we're glad to have them on the team here at the USCSA. Clement Thomas Michel, who had a great finish in the men's giant slalom wearing bib number 77, has skied off of course after dropping in. And that's going to be the end of the day for Thomas Michel. We look for good things out of Thomas Michel as he really laid down a masterful run in the GS 2 days ago. But we are not going to see any more from Clement Thomas Michel from Sierra Nevada College.
It just goes to show you, boss, the different conditions here today. Of course, the slalom's so different than a GS. These racers, some of them are rolling with it, and some of them are struggling, boss.
Well, A.J. Oliver from Rocky Mountain College just nails a good run with 52.55. So from late in the pack, starting in 78th position, A.J. Oliver now moves all the way up to the 19th slot. It looks like Oliver will join teammate Ali Freiberg along with Anton Larson and Bjorn Twas in the top 30 flip. So a good performance here from the entire Rocky Mountain College Alpine men's team.
That's right, boss, and they're sitting comfortably in first right now, a full 4 seconds ahead of St. Olaf, and then followed by University of British Columbia. those second and third spots, merely a second between them, so we could see some reshuffling during the break. Of course, the GS champion Sierra Nevada in fourth right now just goes to show you the parity here at the USCSA National Championships. The winning team dominating the GS is in fourth place today in the slalom.
Joshua Anderson from UMass now across the stripe in 1:18.68. And you know, Alex, as we talk about crowning individual national champions here at the USCSA, as important to these individual racers is that distinction, is the entire competition that's going on outside of the individual competition, which is the team competition. These are the schools that are able to take home the USCSA National Team Championship Trophy. Much like a college football program winning a national championship, these schools are competing for school championships as well. And tell us a little bit about how that scoring system works, especially here in Alpine racing.
Well, boss, they take the top 3 finishers for each team, add those times together, and that is the total team time. If a team cannot field 3 athletes due to a fall or a disqualification or whatever, they will take the, I believe it is the lowest scoring time, multiply it by a factor of 110% and count that as a scoring time. It's called a dummy time, and it's something every team wants to avoid.
So they are competing for team awards just like they are competing for individual awards, all part of the USCSA National Championships. Henry Ferran from Hobart College across the stripe in 1:16.45. That's good enough for 61st position. Now on course into the final 5 gates from Clarkson University, it's David Simon. He was 37th fastest at the split shack, and he makes it up to the top 28 with a 53.98. So David Simon pouring on the speed in the lower third, and it may have earned him a top 30 finish, which will cause him to be one of the first racers out of the gate in run number 2 here this afternoon. Now the University of British Columbia's Austin Taylor wearing bib number 83. He's on course. He'll be followed by Ricky Beneducci from Babson College. Taylor with a good run going, 22nd fastest at the first intermediate split. Still running well here with 3 gates to go. It's UBC's Austin Taylor. And now Taylor across the stripe in 20th place with a 52.61. So Austin Taylor looking good for the top 30 flip for run number 2. Meanwhile, Babson College's Ricky Beneducci wearing bib 84. He's on course coming out of the top third into the center section head wall. Successfully negotiates the gates in the center section. Now he'll move into the flats. And to the lower third, into the 4-gate monster flush. And he has a tough time, but he gets through. Had to scrape some speed, so Beneducci making his way into the final 10 gates. He's from Babson College. Awaiting run number 1 in the start check at Sierra University's, check that, Syracuse University, C.J. Piero, as Ricky Beneducci from Babson crosses the stripe in a 56.95. Ben Hanna from Castleton College awaits run number 1 from the start shack. C.J. Piero from Syracuse. Now on course coming through the center section head wall. Fast and furious men's ski racing here today on the Monday Morning Trail. We hope you're enjoying it live here at the Sunday River, a beautiful Barker Mountain Base Lodge. We have a great vantage point from the Barker Broadcast Center as Boss Hogg and Alex Beatty bringing you all the action on the USCSA Radio Network.
That's right, boss. We definitely have the best seats in the house. We got Alpine Racing on the right, half pipe on the left. Of course, the first and last time I ever dropped into a half pipe, I was very early in my skiing career. I was so terrified, I just skied straight down the center of the half pipe. It's something I try to avoid, but these athletes today have really put on an impressive performance.
Boss Hogg does not go into the half pipe. I don't even walk in there.
It's slippery in there.
I'm not going in there.
Yeah,
I'm not going in
there. It
there.
is icy.
I like to look at it, though. It's fun to watch it here from these from the heated room in the scoring shack. but I'm not going in that thing. Now back to live racing action. Ben Hanna from Castleton College crossing the stripe in a 54.12, and that is going to put Ben Hanna right on the bubble in 30th position for the flip. Will Ben Hanna be able to hold on? If so, he'll be the first racer out of the gate today as we start run number 2 and crown our 2012 USCSA Men's Slalom National Champion. St. Olaf College's Nate Hansen wearing bib 88, now dropping in. Check that, he's halfway down. Eric Gorenstein from Cornell, he'll be next. We missed Syracuse University's CJ Piero. Piero came across the stripe in 55.81. He'll be back for run number 2. Now with 10 gates to go, it's Nate Hansen from St. Olaf. Hansen still carrying good speed here. Had to scrape a little at the end. Just when the legs are absolutely boiling, they throw a couple of more tight gates at you right here on the finish line. And you can see they'll carry the speed into those gates. They're typically getting late here, and they got to scrape speed with 2 gates to go. Boy, that's not only tough on the body, that's tough on the mind too.
Absolutely, boss. There's nothing worse than skiing a whole course beautifully and then crashing or skiing out on one of the last few gates. We've seen a couple racers vomit on the last few gates of this course, and that's a killer, boss.
Another start time correction here for the afternoon session. It looks like this is now official. We're going to begin run number 2 at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. this afternoon. That means our USCSA radio broadcast coverage will begin at 12:45. Let's quickly go down the schedule of events for this afternoon. In the men's Alpine Slalom, run number 2 inspection will open at 11:45. It'll run 45 minutes till 12:30. At noon, the entry for racers closes. The entry for all closes at 12:15. The coaches will be in place at 12:50. We'll see our forerunners at 12:54. And then this afternoon at 1 p.m., we will begin the second run of the men's 2012 USCSA Slalom National Championship.
You know, boss, and just when we were talking about sliding out in the last few gates, Eric Gorenstein of Cornell did exactly that, but he got back up and kept going, and we'll see him in the afternoon.
Now across the stripe from Clarkson University, it's Christian Perryman. Perryman with a 54.87. And no doubt, as we watch the times here come down here in the final 20 or 30 racers, Alex, this course is becoming more and more challenging as the day goes on.
Absolutely, boss. Some struggles here in the last for the last couple racers, but still finishing very well place-wise. Just a testament to how many racers have fallen or hiked today. It has been a brutal course for these ski racers, boss.
Now on course, Graham Jansen from Northern Michigan University. He'll be followed by Jacob Morey, who's now dropped in from the start shack from the University of Minnesota Duluth. Then we'll see Hobart College's Clune Walsh. Clune Walsh ready for run number 1. Now it's Graham Jansen. Jansen from Northern Michigan University across the stripe in a time of 104.02, but most importantly, Jansen earns run number 2. Jacob Morey now from the University of Minnesota Duluth through the center section into the lower third. And Clune Walsh from Hobart College. He awaits high above at the start shack for run number 1. Fantastic snowboard action right here next to us in the Alpine venue in the snowboard halfpipe. A monster halfpipe they've built here at Sunday River. They had the Zog groomer in the middle of it, carving it out perfectly vertical right on the edge. But it is a beast of a halfpipe. I got to think that's 18 to 20-foot walls on the side of that thing. If you've never been in a halfpipe, like Boss Hogg, I recommend you not going in one. Just watch. Much safer.
And more fun, too.
I'll tell you what, though, hats off to these big athletes throwing monster tricks out of the halfpipe today. You're going to see some of the best in college snow sport. Snowboarders and skiers alike, girls and guys. And they ain't scared. A great day at Sunday River here. We're glad you're with us at www.uscsa.com as we wind down here the final races of run number 1 of the men's 2012 Slalom Championships. Ollie Freiberg from Rocky Mountain College, still your leader. He's followed by Nevada Reno's Aldo Balabio. And in third place, it is Luca Rico from Sierra Nevada College. While Hobart College's Clune Walsh with a successful run and a time of 106.03. Babson College's Clark Chamberlain wearing bib number 96. Now coming into the lower third. He'll be followed by Casey Hayward from the University of Idaho. And a tough time for Clark Chamberlain from Babson College. He had a great run going. It was 17th fastest at the intermediate split. He had to scrape a ton of speed. Now he's back on course. Let's hope he can get enough to get into the top 30, and across the stripe comes Chamberlain, and it's not enough. A 56.19 puts him in 42nd position. So after being 17th fastest at the split shack, one slight error costs Chamberlain a top 30 flip and an early start position in run number 2. That's a tough break for Chamberlain.
That's right, boss. He'll be hosting to blast from the back of the pack and show in a very, very impressive performance in the afternoon. He should have a great second run time, and he'll definitely turn some heads.
Casey Hayward from University of Idaho. Now making his way into the lower third. 15 gates to go for Hayward. And Gavin Okanuski from Syracuse University now dropping in at the top third. Two racers on course simultaneously with 4 gates to go. It's Casey Hayward from Idaho. And now Hayward across the stripe with a time of 107.18. Gavin Okanuski from Syracuse on course. He'll be followed by Carl Robasek from Castleton College. And it's a wild ride for Okanuski from Syracuse University. He got shot out of that 4-gate flush like a bullet. And he's going to hike for it, too. Okanuski from Syracuse wants run number 2. And he's earned it as he makes his way back on course. Now the speed coming back again. The legs are just nuclear right now. He just wants to finish, trying to get through the last 2 gates, and he does. And across the stripe, it's Gavin Okanuski with a gutsy performance and a time of 108.69. Carl Robacek now from Castleton College on course wearing bib 99. Just a couple of racers left, including Sierra Nevada College's Rico Erickson. Now into the final 10 gates comes Carl Robacek from Castleton College. And across the stripe, it's Robacek in a time of 57.78, good enough for 49th position. Meanwhile, high atop the trail, in the top third, it's Rico Erickson from Sierra Nevada College. Erickson, a good performance and a great technical skier, as you can see him make his way down the center head wall. Now into the flat, and the challenging 4-gate flush coming up next. Here comes Rico Erickson. Erickson through the flush, relatively clean. Erickson was 42nd fastest at the split shack. He'll have to really pull on some speed to make the flip here. And he's going relatively quickly as Rico Erickson now across the stripe. And he does crack the top 30 with a 53.22. Rico Erickson really skiing the lower third well here and moving from a 42nd fastest split time to a top 30 finish with a 23rd position for Sierra Nevada College's Rico Erickson.
That's right, boss. Rico Erickson finished very strong in that run, but the Sierra Nevada team is not having the same day they did yesterday, boss. They are sitting in 4th right now.
Now Rocky Mountain College's Harold Carlson. He's got a barn burner going here. 12 fastest in the split shack. What's it going to be across the stripe for Harold Carlson? And it's huge. A 50.58, good enough for 6th place for Harold Carlson from Rocky Mountain College. So teammate Ollie Freiberg leading still out of the 4th starting position And then out of the 101st starting position, teammate Harold Carlson on a beat-up course is able to throw down a lightning-fast 50.58. So he is less than 2 seconds behind the leader here. And that is quite a performance this late in the day, as the course has had 100 before him, and it has seen better days. So Harold Carlson from Rocky Mountain late in the pack, and comes in with a top 10 finish. David Bowler now from UMass coming across the stripe in a 101.61. Penn State University's Adam Drobish. He's on course high atop the hill. He'll be followed by Whitman College's Chris McChesney. So a little bit of a shakeup in the top 20. Let's go down the list. A.J. Oliver from Rocky Mountain in 20th. It's Zach Fretz from the University of Nevada, Reno in 19. Whitman College's Nathan Ord in the 17th slot, tied with Alex Rose from the University of Maine at Farmington. In 16th, it's Kevin Dacos from Babson, and then UMass's Cole Skinner in the 15th position. In 14th place, it is Cedric Dubois from Clarkson University. University of Colorado's Brian Kazar in 13th. 12th belongs to Bjorn Twas from Rocky Mountain College. And in 11th place from Hobart College, it's Bart Flynn. Back to live action here at the bottom of the hill. Adam Drobish from Penn State University. The Nittany Lion across the stripe at a time of 107.53. He'll be followed by Whitman College's Chris McChesney. And then it is the United States Military Academy's Patrick Beauregard. Now rounding out your top 10 in run number 1 of this men's slalom final. From St. Olaf, Max Lund. Then in 9th, Rob Visconti from Northeastern University. Sierra Nevada College's Marcus Plyer in 8th. Hakan Schoenhader from St. Olaf College in 7th. And Harold Carson with a late heroic run, starting out of the 101st position from Rocky Mountain College, sliding into 6th. Across the stripe, it's Chris McChesney from Whitman College with a time of 54.98. Good enough for 40th position for Chris McChesney. Now it's the United States Military Academy's Patrick Beauregard. The entire Army platoon now lining up at the top, waiting to come down. Teammate Jack Ballstead in the start shack awaiting run number 1. But now it's Army's Patrick Beauregard. Beauregard into the lower third. Six gates to go for Beauregard, and now his teammate Jack Ballstead on course. And into the final gate across the finish line comes Patrick Beauregard with a 102.18. Army's Jack Ballstead on course. He'll be followed by his teammate Jackson Callaghan, also from the United States Military Academy. So the Army platoon coming down in order here. Recapping our top 5 in run number 1 from the University of British Columbia. No, check that. Rocky Mountain College. It's Anton Larson in 5th. Michael Bisnair from British Columbia is in the 4th slot. 3rd belongs to Sierra Nevada's Luca Rico. Then from Nevada Reno, Aldo Balabio in 2nd. But still your leader with a lightning fast 48.58 from Rocky Mountain College. It's Ollie Freiberg. And across the stripe comes Army's Jack Ballstead now in with a 101.24. On course, teammate Jackson Callaghan, part of the Army platoon, now flying down the mountain, wearing bib 112. And it looks like Callaghan has had some difficulty high above the course. While I was reading the screen here, Alex, you had your eyes on what had happened up there.
That's right, boss. He slipped out there a little bit, fell over, and is up hiking. I'm sure that brutal training regimen he has undergone at West Point definitely helped him out with the hike. He has got to be a tremendous athlete, and he really showed his strength there, boss.
As Jackson Callaghan from the Military Academy making his way into the lower third. 10 gates to go for Callaghan. Now on course, it's Christopher Emerson, also from the Military Academy. The entire Alpine Racing men's team from Army. Back to back. And across the stripe, it's Jackson Callaghan with a gutsy run, 117.42. But it earns him a second run this afternoon. Now it's Christopher Emerson. Jason Lally from Army also in the starting gate. A big contingent of racers here from the United States Military Academy. And as you said, Alex, it is quite a feat just to be able to manage the academics and the military requirements of a service academy. And when you throw a varsity sport on top of that, as we saw on some of the television shows on Showtime earlier this year, as they took a look behind Army and Navy's football program and gave us all an inside peek at what many have never seen happens inside a military academy. It is quite an achievement for these kids to be able to juggle all of the things they juggle and then throw a varsity sport, especially something as difficult as ski racing, which requires an enormous amount of travel and training and hurry up and waiting. So hats off to the Army team for really showing us some great stuff here at the USCSA National Championships. Christopher Emerson across the stripe in 102.46. And now on course it is Army's Jason Lally. Lally into the lower third. And Lally is our final racer here, wearing bib number 115. So the final 5 gates here for Jason Lally. And across the stripe comes our final racer from the United States Military Academy. It's Jason Lally with a time of 103.82. So that's going to do it for run number 1 here for the Men's Alpine Slalom National Championship. We lost some big racers, including Jean-Philippe Phaneuf, Clement Thomas-Michel, and many others, as the monster 4-gate flush here in the lower third proved to be absolutely wicked difficult for these racers in run number 1. We can only imagine what the second set's going to look like here this afternoon, Alex Beatty.
That's right, boss. You know, we'll have a much shorter second run because we lost so many racers, and we are guaranteed to lose 1 or 2 more in the second run. It'll be exciting to see who can stand up and who will not be able to take the heat.
Let's boil down the final 10. In the 10th slot, check that, the final 15. In the 15th position from UMass, Cole Skinner. Then it's Clarkson, Cedric Dubois in 14th. University of Colorado's Brian Kazar in 13th. 12th belongs to Bjorn Twas from Rocky Mountain College. Then it's Bart Flynn in 11th from Hobart College. Rounding out your top 10 from St. Olaf, Max Lund. In 9th, Robert Visconti from Northeastern University. In 8th, Marcus Plyer from Sierra Nevada College. 7th belongs to St. Olaf's Håkan Schoenhader. And in 6th, from Rocky Mountain, Harold Carlson. Now your top 5. After the first run, from Rocky Mountain in 5th, Anton Larson. Michael Bisnair from British Columbia in 4th. Luca Rico from Sierra Nevada in 3rd. Aldo Balabio from Nevada Reno in 2nd. And your leader, after run number 1, he is the man to beat for the national championship later this afternoon. From Rocky Mountain College, it's Ali Freiberg. We are going to be in for a treat today. You won't want to miss a second of it, as things will fire up on the USCSA Radio Network at 12:45 this afternoon, with the first racers coming down the hill at 1 o'clock. Alex, can anybody beat Rocky Mountain's Ali Freiberg today?
Well, we're going to find out, boss. I'm not sure if anyone can. The Rocky Mountain team itself doing very well today with finishers in the 1st, 5th, and 6th slots. I believe they also have 2 more finishers in the top 20, so it's going to be very hard to beat this Rocky Mountain team. Even with a fall from one of their top racers, they have a lot of depth, and it's going to be hard for the Sierra Nevada or St. Olaf team to come from behind and claim the gold from Rocky Mountain College.
That's why we run the races, though. Anything can happen here on a sunny Saturday afternoon in Sunday River, Maine. We'll fire back up here on the USCSA Radio Network at 12:45. The 2012 USCSA National Championships are brought to you in part by Patagonia. Their mission: to build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, and to use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. Learn more at Patagonia.com. Patagonia, proud supporters of the USCSA. And by Reliable Racing. Whether it's Alpine and Nordic ski racing apparel and equipment, hill and event supplies, sports timing equipment, or just hard-to-find race equipment, Reliable Racing is your one-stop shop. Check them out on the web at reliableracing.com. Today's USCSA radio broadcast brought to you by Yeti Apparel. When you're facing truly abominable weather, the Yeti has you covered. Visit them at YetiApparel.com. Yeti, proud supporters of the USCSA. And by Hurricane Racing. When it's custom team Alpine, Nordic, or cycling race apparel you seek, Hurricane Racing delivers. Demand the very best in custom printed ski suits, jackets, pants, and race apparel. Demand Hurricane Racing at hurricaneracing.com, official sponsor of the 2012 USCSA National Championships. That's going to do it from the bottom of the Monday Morning Trail here in the Barker Broadcast Center on a glorious Saturday afternoon full of blue skies, not a cloud we can see, warm temperatures, and fantastic second run. The men's slalom championship ski racing coming up at 12:45 this afternoon here on the USCSA Radio Network. On behalf of all of us here at USCSA and my broadcast partner, Mr. Alex Beatty, this is Boss Hogg saying so long, everybody.